let's talk about one of those classic cloud headaches. And then, let's build a permanent, automated fix for it. We're going to dive in and create a self-healing EC2 setup that automatically and instantly updates its own DNS records in Route 53.
You know the feeling, right? You've got a service running on an EC2 instance, you've got your custom domain pointing to it, everything's great. But then, the instance reboots. Maybe it's for maintenance, maybe it's an unexpected shutdown. It comes back up with a new public IP, a new public DNS hostname, and boom, your site is down. Your CNAME record is now pointing to a ghost.
And what happens next is usually a frantic scramble into the AWS console to manually update that Route 53 record. It's tedious, you can make a typo, and all the while you've got downtime. Well, it just doesn't have to be that way. Today we're going to build a system that actually fixes itself instantly, every single time.
Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. The absolute heart of our solution is a simple and pretty elegant bash script. This little script is going to live right on the EC2 instance itself, acting like our own personal, automated DevOps engineer who works 24/7.
The logic here is really straightforward. First, we need to securely get an access token. Then we'll use that token to ask the instance, hey, what's your new public DNS name? After that, we package up that information into a command that Route 53 will understand. And finally, we just execute the update. Let's take a look at the actual code.
All right, first things first, and this is super important, security. We're using what's called the EC2 Instance Metadata Service, version 2, or IMDS v2 for short. This command doesn't just grab data, it creates a temporary session token. This is the modern, secure way to do things, protecting you from certain types of vulnerabilities. So, with our shiny, new, secure token in hand, the script can now make an authenticated request back to that metadata service. This command is basically just asking the instance, what is your current public hostname? And the answer gets stored right in our public DNS variable, ready for the grand finale. And this is where the magic really happens. This command uses the AWS command line interface to talk directly to Route 53. We give it our hosted zone ID and something called a change batch, which holds the new public DNS name. The action is upsert, which is so clever. It means it'll update the record if it exists or create it if it's somehow missing. So we've written our script, we've saved the file, but we're not quite done. Just creating the file isn't enough. We have to tell the operating system, hey, this isn't just a text file, it's a program that you can actually run. And luckily, that's a really simple fix. A single command, chobmod +x, changes the file's permissions and marks it as executable. It's a small step for sure, but it is absolutely critical for our automation to actually work.
All right, we have a script and it's executable. Awesome. But how do we make it run automatically whenever the instance starts up? I mean, we definitely don't want to log in and run it ourselves. That defeats the whole purpose. The answer lies in a classic, incredibly powerful Linux tool, cron.
Now, cron is basically a job scheduler, and it has this super useful special little keyword, @reboot. Instead of scheduling a job for, 2 a.m. every Tuesday, @reboot just tells the system, run this command for me one time as soon as you finish booting up. It is absolutely perfect for what we need.
So this is the exact line we're going to add to the root user's cron tab. It says, at every reboot, run our script. But look closer, we're also redirecting all of the output, both the normal stuff and any errors, into a log file. And trust me, this is a total pro move. It makes figuring out what went wrong, if anything ever does, an absolute breeze.
We are so close. The script is ready, the automation is scheduled, but there's one more vital piece of the puzzle, and it's all about security. By default, an EC2 instance can't just decide to change things in other AWS services, like Route 53. We have to give it explicit permission to do that. So our instance needs exactly 3 permissions. The most important one, of course, is Route 53 change resource record sets. That lets it actually update the DNS record. The other 2 are just helpful for verification and making sure everything runs smoothly. The key here is what we call the principle of least privilege. We only grant the absolute minimum permissions necessary to get the job done.
You'll wrap all those permissions up in an IAM policy, which is basically a JSON document that looks just like this. Now, the best practice here is to attach this policy to an IAM role, and then attach that role to your EC2 instance. Why? Because this way you never ever have to hard code secret keys on the instance itself. It's much more secure.
And with that, the setup is complete. We've got our script, we've got our cron job, we've got our IAM permissions. Now for the most satisfying part of this whole process, proving that it all works. It's time to test our new self-healing system.
The process here couldn't be simpler. First, just reboot the instance. That's the trigger. Once it's back online, SSH in and check that log file we set up to see if the script ran and if there were any errors. Then, hop over to the Route 53 console and make sure the CNAME record is pointing to the new public DNS. And for the final proof, open your domain in a web browser. It should just work.
And that is it. Think about what we just did. By automating this one little task, you've fundamentally changed your infrastructure. It's not brittle anymore, it's resilient. You've gotten rid of manual, frantic work, you've reduced potential downtime, and you've built a system that can recover from a common failure all by itself.
This is such a powerful mindset to get into. Once you start thinking this way, you start to see opportunities for automation everywhere. So the real question isn't just about DNS anymore. It's about looking at every manual repetitive task you do and asking, what will you automate next?